Pensari basketball. Rob, thank you for doing this, man. I always appreciate you.
Appreciate you as well. Thank you for being such a empathetic person. Thank you for being, so open to discussing so many topics. You discuss a lot of topics that people don't want to talk about, and I really appreciate your podcast for that.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, and
Yeah.
we'll see where it gets me, Rob. We'll see. It's just what I love to do. There's a lot going on in this world outside of
What do you mean
sports,
by
and
that?
so
Where it gets you? What do you mean by that?
well, I'm hoping it might provide some other opportunity down the line.
Mm.
Speaking about different subjects, you know.
Well, here's the thing. I've approached our own podcast from a very controversial lens at times. I will
Mhm.
go and dissect the bad plays of a player who scored 30 points, as people say, you're a hater, right? The barometer for me every single night when I go to sleep is, did I approach my job with seriousness and honesty? That's it. So did I do the work and did I do it from an honest place? And everything else takes care of itself. There was a period where I think for 2 months straight, like 2 Januaries ago, we lost more subscribers than we gained every month. It was disheartening. We would make video after video after video, and we just kept losing subscribers because what I was talking about wasn't very popular. And at that moment, I had kind of a choice to make is like, okay, is my channel just going to die here? Are we just going to die at 4,900 subscribers? We're just never going to get to 5,000 subscribers because people hate what I'm talking about. And then I said, no, like I'm not going to be able to sleep if I pander, if I mute myself, if I censor myself, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. I'm not gonna be able to deal with myself. So I continued to grind, and now we've grown a lot since then. We have a budding community. For the most part, last year we had like the most watched post game show on the team, and I think that's just due to the fact that we've always followed like our north star. So it can't be about 15 things, right? And I think you're on an amazing path. Like you, correct me if I'm wrong, you do what feels right to you
Hmm.
all the time,
Yep.
right? You say what feels right to you. You approach things not from a who will be upset with me if I say this and that, but rather what is the thing that needs to be said right now. And that is, I think, the type of thing that builds lasting followers.
But I appreciate you saying that, and I think watching you actually helps me because I haven't always said what I wanted to say, and a lot of the time I still don't. I
Mm,
still am reserved and I hold back because I wonder if I'm going to offend somebody, if, I'm employed by this person, is it going to hurt? But, you and I have talked off camera for a bit and, some more stuff will come out in the next, little bit. But it's come to a point, Rob, where you just got to say what you got to say. And if you believe in what you're saying, then you just got to say it and you got to stand on it. And for
mm.
those who like it, like it. For those who don't. At the end of the day, and it is what it is. And but you can't let people dictate what you're going to say or silence you because you're trying to save somebody from feeling uncomfortable. If you have something to say
Mm.
and you believe that is the truth, then say it.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Do you? Did you?
I did not. I know the show for sure, but no.
Yeah, I loved it. I've been watching the reruns, and there's this quote. One of the main characters, Captain Raymond Holt, he says to Rosa Diaz when she comes out, he says, "Every single time someone steps into who they are, the world becomes a slightly better place."
Mhm.
And I was always kind of stuck with me. It's a very important thing for people to be who they are, not just for the world, but for themselves. When you say what is actually on your mind, you receive actual feedback for what was on your mind, right? Maybe what was on your mind was racist, sexist, homophobic. Maybe it was. Society would tell you to shut up. But no, don't shut up. Actually say what's on your mind and get real feedback on it. Now take that feedback and think about what was said to you and what you said. What it what we want to do as a society is get people to stop saying uncomfortable things, which I think shuts down dialogue. And I'm not pro anything that shuts down dialogue for real. Like forget the politics, forget all that stuff. If you have a question that may be racially insensitive and you will never ask that question for shame, if you have a point about a political thing that happened and you're like, I wonder if I say this thing, will people assume that I'm a Trump supporter?
Mhm.
Well, now you just bury it. And now it's in you and you never got possible feedback on it. When you present a fake version of yourself all the time, and people do it on social media all the time, there's influencers who are pretending their lives are way better than they really are.
Oh yeah.
What you're receiving is feedback for who you're not, which
That's
means you're
true.
not growing. You're not actually growing. So maybe you keep your brand sponsorships and your followers keep going up and your money is rolling, but is that life? I don't think so. I think life is about growth. So, if I say something that may be insensitive to somebody or whatever, well, okay, cool. I'll deal with the consequences. Nothing is going to be, this ain't the 1400s. I ain't getting killed for it. So it's not that serious. If I lose a couple of subscribers or someone writes me a nasty email or nasty comments, cool, we'll deal with it. If somebody wants to give me real feedback on who I am, you're giving me a gift. You're giving me something to think about, something I can hopefully improve. And I think a lot of people get stuck into this idea of like, I am who I am. Oh, that's ridiculous. You're not who
Mhm.
you are. Your cells are changing every day. You shed skin cells, you shed all, like you're changing. You can change. So I have always, believed in this sort of like life is a process thing. And the process is shortcut every time you refuse to be yourself.